This conference will now be recorded.
So in the last session, we have discussed about the DML statements, and we have discussed what DML statements available in Apex programming and how many ways are available to perform the DML operations on your object records, and how can we use the DML statements to perform the operations like as insert statement, update, delete, undelete, upsert, and the merge. And then upon using the DML statements to perform the operations on our records, what kind of problems will be getting arised, we have discussed. And how can we overcome those problems with the help of database class methods, we have discussed theoretically. We'll go in detail now, which I would like to make the things a bit complex. I would like to dig into the code now. How can we allow the partial processing mechanism, and how can we implement the tracking mechanism also, we'll see practically today. Okay, so whenever I'm inserting the records inside my object through some DML statement like as some insert statement, if any of the record operation has been failed, what will happen at that time? Only that single record will be getting cancelled, or the whole transaction will get rolled back? Whole transaction, because DML statements are purely atomic statements which will be using the implicit transactions by default, because all the DML statements are going to be running under the control of a transaction. As part of the transaction principle, if all the operations has been completed successfully, then only it will be committing the transaction, or else if any of the operation has been failed, it will be rolling back that whole transaction. This is the principle of transaction. Either it has to commit or roll back, any one of that. But whatever the operations I'm performing, these operations are running under the control of transactions, so that if any of the operation has been failed, the whole transaction will be getting rolled back automatically by default. So at that time, we don't have any possibility in order to allow the partial processing mechanism as part of DML statements. And the two, from those records, what records has been processed successfully, what records has been failed, why the record has been failed, we can't get those information. There is no proper tracking mechanism as part of DML statements. To avoid those problems, we are using the help of database class methods. Okay, database class methods. By using database class methods, we can able to allow the partial processing, and along with that, we can able to overcome all the drawbacks are available as part of DML statements. Okay, now make a note of this work here. Now make a note. So while using the DML statements to perform the operations, it causes the below issues. It causes the below issues. The first one, DML statements are purely atomic. DML statements are purely atomic statements. Atomic statements in the sense what? Only one. Only one means what? Either commit or roll back. That means complete that operation or else cancel all the operations. Okay, that is, each DML statement will use the implicit transaction by default. Implicit transaction by default. Implicit transaction by default. All the operations will run under the control of transaction. Under the control of transaction. It will commit the operations. It will commit the transaction if all the operations are successfully completed, and will roll back the transaction if any of the operation fails. If any of the operation fails. If any of the operation fails. Now, second drawback. What is the second drawback of DML statements? First one, it is cancelling the complete operations if any of the operation has been failed. Partial processing is allowed or not? Not allowed. Okay. Partial processing mechanism will not be allowed by the DML statements. Okay. DML statements doesn't support the partial processing mechanism. Partial processing mechanism. You know what exactly partial processing mechanism? What do you mean by partial processing mechanism? Upon performing the operations, if any of the operation has been failed, then don't cancel the transaction. Simply ignore that record. Okay, simply ignore that record. Continue with the remaining records as it is. Okay. Now, third one. The third drawback is DML statements won't provide any tracking mechanism. Any tracking mechanism to track each record results, each record operation result. Operation result. That is, the record has been processed successfully or not. We don't have any tracking mechanism inside that DML statements. But all these problems will get overcome with the help of database class. To avoid all the drawbacks, of the DML statements, we have to use database class methods. Database class methods. Okay, database class methods. Now database class. What is the use of database class? By using this database class, we can connect to the database.com. We can interact with your Salesforce objects. It may be standard, it may be custom object also. Every object we can interact, and on those object records, we can perform all the DML operations. Okay. With the help of this database class methods, we can interact with the database.com and we can connect to all the Salesforce objects and we can perform all the DML operations. Now, by using database class, we can interact with the Salesforce objects, and we can perform all the DML operations on the object records. And we can perform all the DML operations on the object records. By using database class, we can interact with the Salesforce objects and we can perform all the DML operations on the object records. Database class methods provides the below benefits. The first one, by using database class methods, we can perform the DML operations on either one or more records at a time. We can perform the DML operations on one or more records at a time. The second benefit. What is the second benefit of database class methods? Partial processing. Okay. Now, it allows the partial processing mechanism. It allows the partial processing mechanism. Next, third one, tracking mechanism. That means if I'm allowing the partial processing mechanism, that means what? Upon inserting the record, suppose I'm inserting some 10 records. Upon inserting the 10 records, first record has been success, second record success, third one success, fourth one success, fifth one success, sixth one success, seventh one failed. Okay, seventh record has been failed. Eighth record success, ninth record success, 10th record failed. Two records has been failed. Seventh record, 10th record has been failed. From these 10 records, which records has been successfully processed, which records has been failed. We can able to track that here. That possibility is available. Okay. So whatever the records has been failed, only those failed records we can reprocess. Okay, we can reprocess the failed records here. Okay. Now in this case, it provides the tracking mechanism to be used to identify which records has been processed successfully and which records has been failed to process. We can able to identify each and everything. That facility is available as part of database class methods. Done? Now let's see. First we'll use the database start insert method. How can we use this database start insert method? And how can we allow the partial processing? How can we enable the tracking mechanism? How to track the records results? We'll see practically here. Okay. Now, try to understand this concept. This is most important. Okay. It's a bit lengthy also. Okay. Now the first method. Database start insert method. What is the use of this database start insert method? To insert records. How many? Only one or multiple? Multiple records. Okay. Now, by using this method, we can insert either one or more records into the object at a time. We can insert either one or more records at a time. Then what is the syntax of this one here? Now let me explain. Okay, what is the syntax? Before going to that syntax here, now I will give some more information. Don't write this information. Let me explain the syntax first. Okay. Let me explain the syntax first. Now, for example, I'm using database start insert. Okay, I'm using the database start insert method. Here, as part of this database start insert method, we have two syntaxes. Okay, we have two syntaxes. First one is you can specify the collection name where exactly the records are available. Okay, just you can pass the collection name. Whenever I'm using this database dot insert of simply collection name, now this method will be exactly working like as your insert statement. Okay, it is exactly working like as insert statement. That means here it will maintain the transaction internally by default. Whenever if any of the operation has been failed, transaction will be getting rolled back. Okay. Now, second one, database start insert. Now, here we are having that collection name and the second parameter boolean. Okay, we can specify the boolean parameter. Okay, now we have to pass that second parameter as boolean parameter here. Now, up to this part, you know. Okay, here also you know that here database or insert of collection. What collection of records you would like to insert, we can specify. Then if it is a boolean parameter, boolean means what? True or false. Okay, now in this case, if I'm giving that second parameter true, then what will happen? If I'm passing that second parameter as false, what will happen? If I'm giving that first parameter, the second parameter true, like as boolean parameter true, it will maintain the transaction. It will maintain the transaction, which will be exactly working like as your insert statement. If I'm using it as false, that means it will allow the partial processing. It will allow the partial processing. Whenever I'm passing that second parameter as false, that means upon inserting this collection of records, don't maintain any transaction. Why? Because if I'm maintaining the transaction, then at that time, if any of the record has been failed, the whole operations will be getting cancelled. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to cancel all the records. I don't want to reprocess the records again and again and again. So don't maintain the transaction. So I'm giving that value as false. So don't maintain the transaction. So please allow the partial processing mechanism. That means upon inserting some bulk records, or it may be two records, one records, whatever, if any of the record operation has been failed, then don't cancel the previous operation, don't cancel my transaction, simply ignore that record and go with the rest of the records as it is. So for that one, we are using the second parameter as false. If I'm passing the second parameter as false, then it will allow the partial processing mechanism here. Okay, it will allow the partial processing mechanism. Partial processing means what? Some records will be inserted, some records will be failed. Okay, now in this case here, for example, let me explain that concept. Now I'm using this one. For example, inside my collection, I'm having some 10 records. Like as record 1 to record 10. 10 records are there. So now here I'm going to be inserting the collection. For example, my collection name is LST accounts. For example, my collection name is LST accounts, in which I have placed all these 10 records. I'm passing my collection name, LST accounts. So now second parameter I'm indicating like as false. Okay. Second parameter I'm indicating like as false. Then what do you mean by false? Allows the partial processing mechanism. Now it will start inserting the records one by one. In that LST accounts collection, whatever the records are there, record 1 to record 10, all the records will try to insert one by one here. Now it is performing the record operations. For example, when coming to the records, record 1, success. Record 2, success. Record 3, this is also success. Record 4, this is also success. Record 5, failed. Failed. And the record 6, this is success. Record 7, success. Record 8, failed. Insertion failed. Record 9, success. Record 10, failed. So these are the 10 records here. Whenever I'm inserting this 10 records by using this insert stay method, then upon inserting the records, if any of the record operation has been failed, simply it will be ignoring that record, it will continue with the remaining records as it is. Now tell me, from this, out of this 10 records, how many records has been processed successfully? How many records has been failed? 7 records has been processed successfully. 3 records has been failed. Okay, we are having some failed records are available. This is one failed record, and this is another failed record, and then this is another failed record. 3 records are failed, remaining 7 records are processed successfully. Now, from these 10 records, which 7 records has processed successfully? Which 3 records are failed? I want the tracking mechanism. Okay, I want to track this one. How can we track here? That means I want each and every record result. Okay, I want each and every record result here. Whatever the records I'm inserting into my object, each and every record result I want here. Whether this record 1 has been processed successfully or not. In order to get that result of each and every record operation, we are using the help of a class called as database.saveResult class. Okay, there is a class called as a database.saveResult class. Database.saveResult is a standard class which has been given by Salesforce, which will be holding the result of only one record which you have inserted, which you have saved. It is indicating save result. That means upon saving a record, whatever the result is available, the result will be storing inside that save result class. Okay, understood the concept here? Now, save result class. Save result is a standard class which has been given by Salesforce, which will be storing the result of one record which you have saved into your object. Only one record result. But here, how many records we have inserted now here? 10 records. To hold that multiple records results, what we can do? List collection. Or else any other thing? Array, right. We can use that array also. We can use either list collection or we can use array also here. Array contains what? Multiple elements here. Okay, multiple elements. So now here I'm preparing an array of that save result class. Why? Because this save result array can store multiple records result operations. Because I am having 10 records are available, these 10 records results I would like to store. So for that one, I am defining that array type. Or else, if you are feeling difficulty to manage the array, go with that collection also, no problem. List collection here. Okay, we can go with that list collection, whatever you want. Now here I'm having some fixed records are there, so that I'm going with that array. Now here I'm using that results. I'm defining that object over here. Okay. Now, whenever we are going to be inserting the records by using the database start insert method, then whatever the records has been inserted, whatever the records has been filled, to store each and every record result operation, we are using a class called as database start save result. Okay, database start save result. Clear? Understood the concept now? Database start save result is a standard class which will be holding each record result. Okay, each record result. So now here in this case, the save result class can store only one record result operation. So that to store the multiple record results, we would like to define a array or we can define a list collection. Now, in this case, as part of this save result class, it is providing some set of methods. Okay, result is available inside my save result class. Then what is that result? Is it success or fail? I want to know. For that one, as part of this save result class, it is providing some set of methods. Okay, we are having some set of methods. The first method is, okay, the first method is Boolean is success. Okay, the first method is Boolean is a success. What do you mean by is a success? Now that means whether that record result is success or not. For example, I'm having only one result is available, only one record result is available. Database dot save result. Okay, so now database dot save result class, in this class it is storing one record result here. Now that record result is what? Is it success or failed? I want to know. For that one, inside my save result class, I have a method called as is a success method, which will be returning what type of value? Boolean. Boolean means what? True or false. True means what? False means what? True means success. That means record is inserted successfully. False means record has been failed. Okay, now that's it. So now in this case, it is returning that Boolean parameter to you. If it is returning true, that means record inserted successfully. True means record is inserted successfully. Next, second one. If it is returning false, that means record has been failed. Record insertion failed. Okay, record insertion failed. Okay, now. So it is indicating that by using that is a success method, we can identify whether my record has been saved successfully or not. If it is saved successfully, then this is success method will return a value true or else it will return a value false. Okay, now then what is a guarantee to me that my record has been saved successfully? For example, I'm inserting a record, my first record has been successfully inserted, then what is a guarantee to me that my record is inserted? If the record is inserted successfully, what Salesforce will generate to you? ID. I want that ID. If I'm getting that ID, then it's a confirmation to me my record is inserted successfully. So that here, if the record is successfully processed, if the record is inserted successfully, to get that record ID, we are using a method is available that is called as get ID method. Okay, the second method is get ID method. Now this get ID method will return the record ID here. It returns the ID of the record which has been inserted. Once the record has been getting inserted successfully, then Salesforce will be generating an ID. To get that ID of the record, we are using a method called as get ID method. Okay, clear? Now, for example, the third point. Suppose record is not inserted successfully, record is failed. Why the record is failed? Why the record has been failed? Might be I may be passing some wrong input values. There is a revenue field is there, for that one I have supplied some string parameters. There is a string variable is there, for that one I'm passing some date value. Or there is a mandatory field is there for which I did not supply the value. Or there may be some record is there for which I have supplied some duplicate values also. Because of that, my record may be failed. I want to know what is the reason behind that, why the record has been failed. For that one, if you want to know what is the reason here, why the record has been failed, for that one, that means that the failed means what? It is generating some errors. To get those errors information, we have the method called as get errors. Okay, there is a method called as get errors method, which is used to get the errors information which has been caused because of that which the record has been failed. Whenever the record has been failed to process, why the record has been failed? What is the error message here? What is the reason? I want to get those reasons with the help of get errors method here. By using this get errors method, we can able to get the error details. We can get the error details due to which the record has been failed. Okay, failed. I want to track those errors information over here. Now in this case, where it will be storing this errors information, in order to store all this errors information, it is using a class called as database.error class. Database.error class here. Database.error is a standard class which will be holding one error information. One record error information will be storing inside them. For example, now the record 5 has been failed because of one required field is missing. Record 8 has been failed because of duplicate records. Record 10 has been failed because of invalid input, like as illegal assignments here. Okay, illegal assignments I did. That means here there is a numerical field is there. For that one, I'm passing some string parameter value. Or there is a date field is there for which I'm passing some string parameter, which cannot be acceptable, which is like as a illegal assignments here. So now in this case, 3 different reasons are available here. First record has been failed because of a different reason. Second record has been failed because of a different reason. Third record has been failed because of a different reason. In this case, to get that errors information here, to store each and every record result error information, we are going to be using a separate database.error class. For that one, I'm defining a error array, database.error array. Okay, clear? So in order to get the errors information, we are going to be using a class called as database.error class, which is used to store each and every error information here. Okay, clear? Understood the concept up to now? Now let me dig into the concept now again. Now in this case, now let me go with that database.error class. Now, so let me go with the database.error class here. So what is the use of this database error class? Database error class will be holding the error information, nothing but the cause. Okay, the cause. Cause means what? The reason why the record has been failed. Okay, why the record has been failed. So it will be storing that error information inside that. Whenever you are observing the error will be having 3 parts. Okay, every error will be having 3 parts. Let me show you practically here. Yesterday, we have prepared that method in order to insert the multiple records into my object here. Let me go with that class. Now. What is that class? Yesterday we have prepared DML operations handler. Okay, now, so in this case here I'm going to be inserting the records right now. I'm using that normal insert statement. I'm trying to be inserting the record right now. I'm giving the values some 8012,000. Here I'm giving that value 991. Okay, I'm trying to be executing this same functionality again. No, it is causing an error here. There is a field record is available for which we haven't supplied that mandatory field value. Now let me take that screenshot over here. So this is the exception has been raised by Salesforce. In this exception, we are having three parts are available. Okay, let me explain those three parts. The first part. So here the first part here. Okay, here the first part, which is indicating that this is the error description. Why the record has been failed? Because there are some mandatory fields are there for whom the values you did not supply. That means required fields are missing. Okay. So now this is the error description. Whenever if you want to get this error description, okay, now the center error information will be storing inside a class called as database start error class. Okay, database start error class. Now this is the error description over here. Okay, this is the error description. In order to know this error description, we are going to be using a method. Okay, to get this error description, we are using a method called as get message. There is a get message method which will be used to get the error information, error message information. Okay, clear? To get that error information, error message, we are going to be using a method called as get message. This get message is available where inside a class called as database.error class. Inside the database.error class, we are having the first method called as get errors method, which will be get message method, which will be collecting the error message information. Next, the second part. So this is the second part here. This second part here, this is called as status code. Okay, this is called as status code. This is called as status code. If you want to get this status code of this error message, we have to use a method called as get a status code. By using the get status code method, we can able to get the status code. Like for example, when you go to any bank ATM, after performing your transaction, it will be giving some transaction code like a 000. 000 means what here? Transaction successfully performed. Suppose here, if there is any problem in the ATM machine because insufficient funds, or account has been deactivated, or the amount is cash is not available in the ATM, ATM is unable to dispense the cash. At that time, whenever it is printing the transaction slip, in that one it is printing the transaction code also. When you go to that any ATM center, inside that room you will be having a chart will be there. In that chart, you will be having list of transaction codes. 00 means successfully processed. Okay, 400 means some different transaction. This is the error. And then 101, this is the error. 005, this is the error. They will be indicating that chart will be available to you. We can list out the chart. Just observe the chart inside the ATM center. So whenever we are going to the ATM center. Like the similar way, for each and every operation, whenever the operation has been failed, why it has been failed, what is the transaction code, status code? I want to get that. For that one, we are using that option called as required field missing. This is the status code here. Okay. Now, the third one, why this error has been occurred, why this operation has been failed, because of which field the operation has been failed. We can able to track that field's information. Okay, we can track the field's information. So this is the field because of which my operation has been failed. So in this case, to get this field's information, we are using a method called as get fields. Get fields. Now by using this get fields method, we can able to track so which fields has causes this error message here. We can able to track that information by using this get fields method. These are the three methods are available as part of your database.error class. Okay, database.error class contains three methods are available. What is that error message? Why the record has been failed? We need to track that information. For that one here, we are using the method called as get message method. Second method, get a status code. What exactly the status code? Okay, status code. Like when you go to the status codes, you will be having the status codes like this. You will be having the status codes like required field missing. Sometimes you are getting that information duplicates detected. Duplicates detected. Sometimes you will be getting that exception message like as some mixed DML operation. Mixed DML operation. Like that, you will be getting some exceptions also over here. These are some status codes which will be using by Salesforce. Okay, which will be using by Salesforce. Now, in this case, what status code has been written by the Salesforce instance, we can able to track that one by using a method called as get a status code method. And the third method is because of which a field value my record has been filled to process. We can get that fields information with the help of get fields method, which is returning that affected fields because of which a field values my record operation has been cancelled. I would like to track this information. So that here we are using these three methods as part of your database start error class. Okay, inside my save result class I'm having three methods. In that get errors method, it is returning the results in the form of database start error class. Database start error class contains three methods are available here. Okay, understood these methods here? Now make a note. Make a note of this one. This class contains the error details raised by Apex runtime, upon operation failed. Upon operation failed. Okay, upon operation failed. Now, note point. Each database start error class can store only one record error details. Only one record error details. To store the multiple records, error details, we need to define it as an array or collection. We need to define it as an array or collection. Now the methods. The first method, get message. It returns the error message written by the Apex runtime. Apex runtime when the record fails, failed to save. Second one, get status code. It returns the status code of the error message. Error. For example, required field missing, duplicates detected, mixed DML operation, etc. Here's the second method. The third method, get fields. It returns the affected fields information. Affected fields information. That is, because of which field values the record has been failed. These are the three methods are available. Okay. database start insert method, database start insert method to database start save result class, database start save result class to database start error class. We have to digging into the concept now. These methods are very, very important. If you have done with one example with the help of database class methods, remaining examples will be very, very similar, nothing else. Done? Done with this information? Can I go ahead? No. Let's see. So let's take a small example on this one. I want to insert some records into my object by using database class methods. Upon using the database class method, I want this tracking mechanism also, where I want to use the help of save result class. I would like to use the help of database start error class also. Okay. Let's see how can we implement this functionality. Let's take a small use case. So write an Apex class. Write an Apex class to insert 200 account records into the object. 200 account records into the object. and allow the partial processing mechanism. Allow the partial processing mechanism and track each record result and represent on the debug log file. I want to track each and every record operation result. I want to show that result onto my debug log file so that I can process it. I can reprocess only those failed records. Done? No. So let me prepare a small method in order to allow the partial processing mechanism. I'm creating a method, public static void create bulk accounts. Okay, or process bulk accounts. Process bulk accounts. Now, I'm going to be creating some 200 records into my account object. So I'm using that for loop for integer counter equals to 1, counter less than or equals to 200, counter plus plus. So now in order to store all the records inside a collection, I'm defining a list collection. List of account. I'm indicating accounts to insert, new list of. I'm creating a collection with the name accounts to insert, which will be of type a list collection, which can able to hold a collection of account records inside that. I'm defining a list collection of type account, and then the object name is accounts to insert. I'm creating each and every account record by using that for loop, and I would like to process those records. Account sum is equals to new account. I would like to supply the values. Let me supply the values. ACC dot name. I'm indicating bulk account process hyphen. I'm adding that counter. ACC dot rating. I'm indicating hard. Okay, that too I'm indicating that if counter value greater than or equals to 100, I'm assigning the value hard. Else ACC dot rating equals to wow. That means what? What is this condition? That means what? What is this condition? Okay. For the first 100 records, what is the value for the rating field? Hot or warm? Hot or warm? Warm, right. Because here the counter value greater than or equals to 100, then only the value will be hot. That means the records whose counter value is more than 100, for those records the rating value will be hot, and below that 100, that means up to 1 to 99, for those records I'm giving the rating value as 1. Okay. Next, I'm passing the value. ACC dot industry. Chemicals. ACC dot annual revenue, I'm indicating that value here. Like as I'm giving the value some 45 lakhs. SEC dot type. I'm indicating customer direct. SEC dot ownership. I'm indicating like as public. SEC dot phone. SEC dot fax. SEC dot website. SEC dot customer priority. SEC dot active status. And then once the record has been getting prepared, okay, once the record has been getting prepared, I would like to add the record to my collection. Accounts to insert dot add a SEC. Accounts to insert dot add of SEC. Okay, I'm preparing those account records. Once account record has been getting prepared, then I'm going to be adding that record to my collection. Once all the records has been added to the collection, then I would like to insert the records here. If the accounts to insert is not empty, if the collection is not empty, then I would like to insert the record. Now here I would like to write the actual code. Okay. Active status equals to yes. Okay. Simply I'm preparing 200 records, account records. I'm adding those records into my collection. Once the collection is not empty, that means if the records are there inside my collection, now I would like to insert. Now tell me, upon inserting the records, what needs to be done? Database dot insert method. Okay, database dot insert. Now tell me what we need to supply now. Accounts to insert and then false, right? That means I'm allowing the partial processing mechanism. Whenever I'm going to be allowing the partial processing mechanism, if any of the record has been failed, then how can we track? What is the tracking mechanism over here? Boolean, where it is available here. In this case, where it is available. Whenever I'm going to be inserting the record by using database.insert method, it will return the result in the form of what? Database.saveResult class. Okay, it is returning the result in the form of database.saveResult class. Tracking the result is it's your optional. If you want, you can track. If you don't want, leave it. No problem also. Okay. Now, in this case here, as a best practice, always we have to track. In the application, this is mandatory process. Now, whenever I'm inserting the records by using the database.insert method, by allowing the partial processing, some records will be processed successfully, some records will be failed. Then failed records, we need to reprocess it again over here. Then how can we identify that here? For that one, I'm going to be using that to identify failed records information and success records information. I'm using a class called as database.saveResult. Now tell me here in this case, simply a save result class, or do we need to define an array? Why array? multiple records I'm inserting, because inside my collection 200 records are there. To store the 200 records results, I'm using array type here. Simply I'm specifying results. Okay, database that save result class. Simply this class can store only one record result which you have saved. Okay, it may be success, it may be failure, both it will be storing that here. To store multiple records results, I'm defining it as an array, or we can define it as a collection also. Okay, now from here we need to digging into the concept. Now what we can do? Triggers dot results dot get message directly we can get. Okay, how can we get? So now this is results. Results is nothing but what? Collection. Okay, or array, whatever. In this one, what we have? Multiple records results are available. I need to get each and every record result right. Okay, from this array, I need to get each and every record result right. Then we can track that record is successfully processed or failed. How can we track each and everything now? Now, this results is a collection which will be holding multiple records results. So, to get each and every record result, what we need to do? We need to use a for loop. Okay, for loop. For example, this is like as a collection. In this collection, assume that I'm having 100 account records are there. To display each and every account record, what we are using? For loop. Through for loop, we are iterating the collection from starting to ending. So this is the collection which will be holding all the 200 records results are available. To get each and every record result, we need to iterate this collection over here. Now tell me, in the left side is what, right side is what? Results. Next. Left side is what? What is this one? Now results is what type over here? What is the type of that result variable? Database dot save result. Okay, database dot save result. So that here we have to define that. Database dot save result. Okay. Now, for example, if I'm having the collection like as account of list of account, we are iterating that collection by defining that for loop. In that for loop, accounts and ACC from that collection name. Like the similar way, we are having a collection. This is the collection name. This collection is of type what? Database dot save results. So that here I'm going to be collecting all the results of those 200 records. From those 200 records result, I'm collecting each record result here. Every record result I'm collecting, I'm storing inside the variable RES. From there, we can display that here. Now we can able digging into the code here. Okay. Now I want to verify. This is one record result, first record result. Whether this result is success or not, I would like to verify. How? What is that method here? RES dot is a success method. Okay, is a success. Now it may be success, it may be failure also here. Okay, if it is success, that means what? Record is inserted, right? Now account record inserted successfully. Okay. Now, what is the guarantee that your record is inserted successfully? Get the ID here. System.debug now. Account record ID is I want to use it. RES dot get ID. Okay, get ID. Else, if the record is not success, if the record is not success, record has been failed, then that means here else part, getting that errors information. Now I would like to get the errors information. RES dot get errors. Get errors is going to be returning the errors information. Now it will be returning the errors information in the form of what? Database dot error class. Not only one record error, multiple errors also to return. So that here I'm using that errors. Okay. Now I'm having this errors information. Multiple errors information is available. How can we get each and every error information? Again, we have to iterate this one here. So now for each and every, in the right side what? Errors. Left side is what? Database dot error. Right, correct. Database dot error. ERR, unspecified. Now get each and every error information. System dot debug. Now error message is, how can we get the error message information? ERR dot get message. Okay, ERR dot get message. Now tell me here, do we have any chance to optimize this code now? Do we have any chance to optimize this? Then, okay. Now instead of defining a separate collection, what we can do? Directly we can able to call this method inside this place itself. Okay. Now simply we can able to eliminate that code also. Okay. res dot get errors. This is the list of error messages which has been written by the records. Now I'm collecting each and every error information. I'm storing inside my database dot error class. I'm displaying that error information here. System dot debug. Now error status code is err dot get status code. System dot debug. Error affected fields are get fields. This is the information. Done? Done with this code? Now. So let me make few records will be getting failed. Let me verify what mandatory fields are there inside my account object. Annual revenue is a mandatory field. Okay. Annual revenue is a mandatory field is there. So let me check. For one of the record, I won't supply the annual revenue value. If the counter value is not equals to 101, is in the annual revenue value. Let me check. Now, so now in this case, I'm having my account records are available. I'm inserting the records up to 200 records. I'm inserting into my account object. From those records, for the 101 record, I'm not supplying the value for the annual revenue field, but inside my object, annual revenue is a mandatory field. Without entering the value for the annual revenue field, we can't create the record inside my object. But I'm not supplying the value for one record, that is 101 record. I'm not supplying that annual revenue. For the remaining fields, I'm going to supply that for the remaining records. Upon inserting these records into my object, I'm going to be tracking the each and every record result with the help of save result class. By using this save result class, I'm going to be tracking each and every record operation result. So that here I have enabled that partial processing mechanism. And then I'm collecting each and every record result one by one. In that record, I'm verifying whether the result is success or not. If the result is success, I'm displaying some message, and aligned with that, I'm displaying the ID of the record which has been generated by Salesforce. If the record has been getting failed, then to why the record has been failed, I'm going to be tracking that error information by using the database card error class here. Okay. So that here to display each and every records errors information here, I'm using some line break. Here I'm giving that line break. Okay, clear now? Understood the concept here? Now, let's see the practical part. Let me execute this. Process bulk accounts. So now here I'm going to be processing the bulk account records inside that. Now before that, let me verify how many account records are there inside my object. As of now, I'm having only 41 records are available. Now I'm inserting 200 more records right now. From those 200 records, one record has to be get failed. Remaining 199 records has to be inserted. Click on execute. My request has been sent to the server. It is processing the request. As of now, we have 41 records are available here. Refresh the user interface. How many records are there? 240. That means how many records have been inserted? 199 records here. One record has been failed. Why the record has been failed? I want to know. Let's go to that debug only checkbox. Check each and every record result. First record has been processed successfully. Second record, third record, fourth record, fifth record. Like that, here each and every record result we can able to verify. See. So now one record has been failed. Now here the record has been failed. So what is the error message over here? Please enter that customer annual revenue. That means the annual revenue is a mandatory field, but it did not supply the value for that annual revenue field. That's what here field custom validation exception. Nothing but there is a validation rule is there on my annual revenue field in order to make that field as a mandatory field. But I did not supply the value for the annual revenue field. That's what it is indicating that error affected fields are annual revenue field. Status code is field custom validation exception. Error message is please enter that the customer annual revenue value. Now the 100 record has been failed. 101 record has been failed. Even though the record has been failed, it is not cancelling the transaction. It is continuing with the rest of the records as it is here. Okay, it is continuing with the rest of the records as it is over here. So that at the end of that, we can able to track which records have been processed successfully, which records has been failed. Okay, so this is how data loader has been built upon. Data loader internal implementation is purely save result class methods only, nothing else. That's what here they're collecting that success records results into the writing into the success file, and the failed records information the writing into that error file. That's it, nothing else. The same concept they have used. Okay, clear? Understood the concept now? Now, in this case here, I want some small enhancements over here. Okay, I want a small enhancement inside my application. Try this example here today. Upon testing this application, whenever if any of the record has been failed, okay, whatever the records has been failed, collect those failed records, store into your list collection, okay, store into a list collection, and then with those details of those failed records, create a case. Okay, create a case record through programming. In that case, a description specify these are the records which has been failed. So now please process these records manually. I want to create a high priority case record. Okay, a high priority case record. That is my requirement. Okay, got the information now. So whatever the records has been failed, collect those failed records information. Okay, whatever the records has been failed, collect those failed records information, and then those failed records information, with those failed record information, at the end, I want to create a case record. That case has to be get assigned to a queue. High priority case, I would like to create that. Once the case record has been getting created, case will be getting assigned to a person over. So that person will take up that case. He will be processing those records manually here. Whatever the failed records are there, those failed record information I want to place inside the case board here. In the case description, I want those case account records information which has been failed. Okay, clear? Understood the concept? Try these enhancements today here. Okay. Understood the requirement, or can I explain one more time? So now once the operation has been done, it may be success or it may be failure. Whatever the failed records are available, only failed records I'm talking about. So whatever the failed records are available, collect those failed records information, add into a collection, a list collection, maintain a list collection, list of account, like as a failed accounts. Okay, create one collection, okay, failed account, which is a list collection, list of account, and then when come to the else part, that means here if it is not success, inside this one, use that list collection and add that record which has been failed. Whatever the account record is available, that record has been failed, then please add that record information inside this. Okay, by end of that iteration for loop, all the failed records information will be coming into your collection automatically here. Okay, by end of this iterating this entire for loop, all the failed records information will be coming into your list collection. Then at the end, okay, after this one here, after this for loop, then write some piece of code. Through that piece of code, create a high priority case record with the status new, okay, with the status new, and then give the priority as high, and then please specify the case record information inside the description, and then we can able to assign that case record to a particular user. Okay, clear? Try this enhancement today here. Okay, clear? Yeah. Same? Okay. Multiple records in the sense. I did not get your point actually. Okay. For the same field, you want to give some different conditions or what? Different records, you want to supply some different values. Okay. Okay, now in this case we can specify the condition over here. Give the range of condition. If the counter value greater than, okay, greater than or equals to 101, and then counter value less than or equals to 105. That means 101 to 105. I don't want to assign that here. Like that, we can write the condition. Okay. For the multiple records, we can able to don't assign the value. Then only we can able to make it fail multiple records. Those multiple records we can able to catch inside that collection over here. Okay, catch inside the collection, and then those records we can able to create a case over there. Okay, create the case record inside that. Clear? Now, try that enhancement today here. When moving forward, when you go to the batch concept, the similar kind of implementations we want, but at that time I don't want to create the case record. I want to send an email notification to the people. Okay, I want to send an email notification to the people also. These are the records which has been failed, so please reprocess these records again. Okay. Okay, so this is the concept of insert operation. How to insert the record by using the DML statements, how to insert the record by using database class methods also. Upon using this database class methods, we are using the help of database dot save result class. Okay. Tomorrow we'll see the remaining DML operations: delete operation, undelete operation, upset operation, and then we are having merge operation, edit operation. We'll see the remaining operations. Okay.